finally took its toll. And it's been so long, but I'm finally home and walk better place to rest my weary bones than on this beautiful island where there's so much to see. Every corner I turn, there's something there to remind me of my beautiful nation and what it means to me. Not a thing out of place, that's what's special about it. And do you hear? It's the songs the birds are singing. Do you hear? It's a sound that's everlasting, and there's no end in sight, just the beginning of our lives. Sweet Grenada, this is home, yes. And do you hear? It's the songs the birds are singing. Do you hear? It's a sound that's everlasting, and there's no end in sight, just the beginning of our lives. Sweet Grenada, this is home, home, home. Sweet Grenada, yeah, this is home.
Yes, I, Grenada, Carrico, Pidi Mandigan, the rest of the world. I'd like to welcome you to another Mikey Life program, people. This is where it all happens. We are talking about the good, the bad, and the Mikey audio. I've been waiting all day to come on to you, to tell you what's happening in the country. All right, so please, people, brace all yourself for another interesting night of news. We talk about the good, the bad, and the Mikey audio. You'll be hearing about things you have not heard about ever. People, woman dies in hit and run accident in New York. The Royal Grenada Police Force appeals for safe kite flying practices. St. David woman celebrates 100 years. Elderly citizen raped in St. Andrew. Man charged with sand mining, and he is sentenced to prison. Also, the United States report says that cannabis is the drug of choice in Grenada and the Eastern Caribbean. Your help is needed in finding a man. And of course, when we say your help, we are talking about our people who are viewing in Trinidad and Tobago. Suspect steals police car. Oh boy. Crazy stuff. And a fetus that was found in Barbados is believed to be belonging to a monkey and not a human being. Former CXC CEO says organization cannot afford payment demands by teachers. So we have that and more to tell you about when we return on tonight's program. People, it is the good, it is the bad, and it is the Mikey. For those of you who have not yet done so, we encourage you to share the program. You see, when you share the program, that is how other people gets to know that the program is live, that we have started. So please go ahead and hit that share button once you are on Facebook. There are some of you who are also on YouTube. We want to say welcome to you as well. And how can we forget? Those of you who are on WPG10, we see that you're here with us now. We would like to welcome you to another Mikey Life program. This is News Discussed, Not Told. When we return, it gonna be real news in all your lily lolo. So brace all yourself. Now the headlines was brought to you through the kind compliments of Duty Free Caribbean and the Colombian Emirates International and WPG10. We'll be back.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom
for me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world.
And so it begins, a journey like no other. Jungles so lush, they make emeralds jealous. Water that sparkles like diamonds. Mountains with more facets than precious gems. This is where good times are had, where love is strengthened, where memories are formed. And when it all comes to an end, bring home something that will never fade. Colombian Emeralds International. Bring home more than a memory.
On Saturday, 6 April, the National Stadium comes alive with the grand opening of the second annual Pure Grenada Cup. St. Andrew Big Parish Stars versus St. Mark Western Stars. And from 9 p.m, defending champion St. Patrick Crown City Strikers versus St. John Dolphins. Experience pure football, pure class. Then after the games, we move stateside for the top 3 artists in the International Groovy Monarch from Trinidad. Groovy King Swappy from St. Lucia with his man Teddyson John and the Grenadian Golden Boy Vaughn. Also featuring the band Solid and Pappy Boy. Admission $25 main stand, $20 bleachers. The grand opening of the second annual Pure Grenada Cup. Get into the game. Saturday, April 13th is the date. 4 p.m. is the time. It's the 3rd annual Grenada Invitational. World-class athletes, world-class performances, and a world-class facility. Come see Olympians Andre DeGrasse, Shellyan, Fraser Price, Braylon Toplin, Asafa Powell, Lyndon Victor, and the cast of superstars at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Tickets are now on sale at godofed.com. Grenadian Optical, Duty Free Caribbean, Maxis Bar, and Venus. Saturday, April 13th. Grenada Invitational. See you there.
McIntyre, top of the screen in the colors of Grenada with a bit of a lead. To keep it fresh, chill it. To get it hot, cook it. To keep it clean, wash it. Do all that and more with top brand appliances from Quartz. Try that recipe on a new stove. Keep those fruit bowls chilled in the latest design fridge. Get laundry done with a brand new washer and dryer combo. Purchase any Whirlpool product and get a chance to win $8,000. Shop with Quartz Ready Finance and pay nothing until June. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
All right, folks, that's the big festival that's coming up. You got to get yourself ready for that, boy. How we looking? All right, so we are ready. We are ready. We are ready. Welcome to those of you who are just joining us. Now, let's get into the news for tonight. The first thing that we have to tell all you about, boy, is that the Grenada National Commission on UNESCO and the Grenada Football Association, the GFA, will host an all-girls football festival in recognition of the UN's International Day of Sports for Development and Peace, IDSDP, and that will be on Saturday, April 6th from 9:30 a.m. at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Now, every year on April 6th, the International Day of Sports for Development and Peace celebrates the power of sports to drive social change, community development, and to foster peace and understanding. Sports was recognized by the UN as an important enabler of sustainable development in the post-2015 development agenda, with member states giving their commitment to implement by 2030. Now, this is going to be happening, and so they are inviting you guys to come out to witness that. All right, over 200 girls ages 6 to 16 across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique are expected to participate in the festival. All right, folks, we have just received some information about an accident that happened in St. Andrew today. All right, let's just take a look at that. We just received that information just as we were coming on the program. According to our source here, they are saying that there were no serious injuries to talk about as a result of this. But this happened this afternoon on the Canal Road. That's just by the intersection that leads to the St. Andrew's Anglican Secondary School. All right, as you can see here on your screen, it's the passenger bus that is involved in this crash here. But like the reporter is saying here, that there were no serious injuries, but still we just need to inform you that this incident would have happened. We are moving on. The next story that we have to tell all you about, boy, is that a woman, information reaching us is that a woman 67 years old, all right, was hit in Brooklyn, New York this morning, boy. Hit and run in a big truck, you know. You understand? By a big truck. Now they're saying that she may be related or have some sort of relationship. When I say that, either sister-in-law or something to that effect of former parliamentarian George Prime. And so that's why you would find that a lot of the media houses here are reporting that. You understand? Her name is Linda Douglas. They say that police found her lying on the roadway and she was unconscious. You understand? They say they received the call, and when they arrived on the scene, they saw her there unconscious, unresponsive as well, with multiple injuries, trauma throughout her body. You understand? They say she was pronounced dead. They say it seems like she was trying to cross the road on her way to work when she was hit just around 5 a.m. this morning. They say she was struck by a tractor trailer, you know. It sped off, never stopped. So police are conducting investigations into that, and they are also asking if anybody have information to submit the information to the police so that they can crack this case, you know what I mean? But yeah, boy, that's what they're talking about. You understand? So sad, you know. They say she's a mother and grandmother. We are moving on. The next thing that we have to tell all you about, boys, that the Grenada Netball Association, all right, they are having a netball tournament. According to reports, it started on Saturday. And in games played so far, Convent played against Sunset City. Convent 22 and Sunset City 17. There are games that are scheduled for tomorrow. We have Convent A versus Fun City Girls. It's supposed to be played in Tantine at 6 p.m. And then Grenville Ball Dogs will play Jet Setters 6:30 p.m. on Thursday. All right. Good. We are moving on. Now the next thing that we have to tell all about, boy, you all know that the Grenada Invitational is coming up, and they are promising that this one is going to be better than all the years. Now what they have done, they have selected a cast of very promising athletes, and so the Grenada Invitational, they are inviting people like you to come and have fun and experience athletics at the highest standard. People at the Grenada Invitation will be Andre DeGrasse. He's a Canadian sprinter, and he won the silver medal in the 200 meter and bronze medals in both the 100 meter and 4x100 meter relay at the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio de Janeiro. Now, DeGrasse is the reigning Pan American champion in the 100 meters and 200 meters. He is also the NCAA men's champion in the 100 meters and 200 meters and current Canadian record holder in the 200 meters. Now, DeGrasse won the bronze in the 100 meter and the 4x100 meter relay at the 2015 World Athletics Championship in Beijing. Now, DeGrasse is the first Canadian sprinter to win 3 medals in a single Olympics. So people, you are invited to come see Andre in action. We are moving on. How are we looking for time? Oh yeah, hear the next thing now, people. The Royal Grenada Police Force, they want to talk to Olia about kite flying. People, I don't know what so good, what's so fun about disturbing people in the night when they're trying to sleep. The worst thing after a mosquito in your ears, when you're trying to get asleep 2 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning, is a kite that sounds like a mosquito making noise in your ears. And for some people, that's fun. For some people, that's fun, maybe because they don't have work to do. They don't have either. But the police is calling out them people and say, look now, they're serious about this time around. You know what I mean? People are be sick, people are toothache and they want to sleep and they can't sleep because the noise in the head. Granny don't feeling well, she had arthritis and she trying to make a rest, noise in she head. Baby can't go to sleep, you have a fever. Just before you trying to get like a sleep, noise again, baby can't go to sleep. So there's no fun. Who is to benefit from flying and making a certain noise in people's ears? People trying to go and get like a 5 minutes rest, you know what I mean? So according to police, with kite flying being one of our greatest traditions around this time of the year, the Royal Grenada Police Force, they are appealing to kite flyers to be considerate and conscious about safe practices. Persons are reminded that the unsafe practices in kite flying poses a danger to human life, health and safety of the general public as well. Persons engaged in the practice of leaving those, especially droning kites, to fly at night are reminded that it is against the law to do so. A special appeal is made to persons to refrain from so doing. Like what the police say, oh, stop it. Refrain from doing so because it's against the law. Simple. Now, Persons are also encouraged to fly kites in open areas and away from electricity poles, overhead power lines, and other obstacles, and to refrain from leaving these kites unattended while they are flying. Flying kites near to the airport is prohibited by law, and the persons are reminded that the no-fly areas include, but are not limited to, Caliste, Frequente, Fort Judy, St. Paul's, Montparnasse, and Montmaurice, and the vicinity of the Lauriston Airport in Carriacou. Alright? Yeah, people fly a little kite, but not in the night. And sometimes, yeah, the problem, you know. If you fly a kite on top of a hill here and you go and sleep there, the kite don't disturb them, you know. The kite go and disturb people fast, you know what I mean? So that's the problem. Those people putting up the kite and keeping up people in the night, they don't hear anything for themselves. You understand? Man, look here, eh? There we go. Oh yeah, would you believe if I told you there's a woman, Miss Anne Baptiste, who's today celebrating 100 years, people. She's actually from St. David, but she's living in St. Paul's now. You know what I mean? And she spoke about, you know, the kind of food that she ate and thing, and the kind of activity that she was involved in that probably would have kept her going for so long. She said she used to have to walk long distances to ply her trade, to sell she little breadfruit and thing, from Latin to tongue, you know, people. And she says, listen, hold on. Don't come and calculate in your head no and say Latin to tongue. Yeah, it's a hard work, but you can make it. She said Latin to tongue with the road not pitched. It's stony walking through and bush. You understand?
Yes. I used to go to the market. I used to go up and buy breadfruit in the country and go to town and sell it all over town.
Okay.
I used to go in Grenville and sell sugar out and the street potato and so. I used to walk on that time the road didn't pitch, you know.
So you used to walk from,
Yes.
tell us from where you used to walk from?
I used to walk from John David, from Latin Junction to St. George's. And I tell you, when we was here, we have to walk all the streets again. So there is a lot of walking for the day to come back up without bus. You have to put this foot in and the ground. Stones.
Okay.
I know.
That's cool. She's talking about, so they asked her to do something. You know what she said? I want to do a poem for you guys. So viewers, here is a poem to you out there from a woman who is 100 years old, born in 1990.
They read the journal and the news, the green book and the red. They kept the cereal of the month securely in there. They went through books, both old and new. Bestsellers too, they thought. They read the jokes, they studied styles, no item went for now. They looked the funny papers through. They watched the mail to see the magazine they loved the best, whose item most did please. But in the home, there was a book with pages never turned, whose messages of truth and love were still to them unlearned. The book that tells of him who came to earth that we might know the beauty of a sinless life lived here so long ago. What pity! If they do not know this man of Galilee, who healed the lame, the blind, the deaf, besides Sapphire Sea, and still they read and laugh and shout, O story of the hour, and leave this book. I say this book, I mean this book, lie unopened in its power, but it is my Bible and I, my Bible and I. What a wonderful treasure! It is the gift of God without measure, and we will travel together. It is my Bible and I.
Beautiful.
A round of applause for the Centurion, ladies and gentlemen. Few are these women, or these people in fact, and they have to be respected when they are so strong. Her senses seem to be well intact. Yes? Good. We are moving on. So that's the good about this elderly woman. So now we have the bad about another situation involving an elderly woman. It is being reported that an elderly woman from St. Andrew was allegedly raped. Sometime last night, they say around 1-2 a.m. Say she had to actually run to a neighbor for a rescue. Her attacker, they say, was wearing some sort of mask or something so that she could not have identified him. Eh? A old woman, you know, people. Elderly citizen. How? Well, how? So according to reports, this matter is being investigated by police. But how? One of the our relatives was saying they want to know what? Why? You go have an elderly person and what the jail is that? Anyway, let's leave that talk there. Let's leave that talk there. We don't want to get too worked up on the program because we have so many things to tell all about boy. You know what I mean? Because that don't make no sense. If you ask me, it don't make any sense. You understand? So we go lead that story there. Let the police do the investigation, and then when we get more information and thing, we'll let you know about it. Alright, folks? Never see that yet. Now the next thing that we have to tell all about people. How the program going? How the program going? A man has been charged with sand mining and has been sentenced to prison. And that is a man from St. Andrew. So today he was charged, sentenced to 1 year at a magistrate's prison for the offense of sand mining. In other words, thieving sand. I don't know what sand mining means. Thieving sand then. Dennis Sandy is a 42-year-old. He's actually from a conference. He appeared at the Grenville Magistrates Court, where he pleaded guilty to the charge. So he don't really waste the court time, which is good. You know what I mean? Sandy, who was on bond for a similar offense, was arrested on April 2nd, 2019, after being caught removing sand from Conference Beach. You understand? So you don't hear about these offenses all the time. I mean, they happen, but you don't hear where they get sentenced and stuff like that. I don't know if the fact that it might be a repeated offense, hence the approach by the magistrate and thing to do with it, how they deal with the case and thing. But anyway, that's small talk. There you go. Oh yeah, how we looking for time? The next thing that I have to tell all you, don't have no children on the program when I'm reading that next story. No children on the program when we're reading that story. This next story to tell you about people. A U.S. report is saying that cannabis is the drug of choice in the Eastern Caribbean. Now, a just released United States Department report says that marijuana is a drug of choice in St. Lucia and other Caribbean islands of Antigua and Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. However, according to the 2018 International Narcotics Control Strategy Report, almost all countries in the sub-region have cited a growing traffic from Colombia of a form of cannabis with elevated THC levels known as creepy. Now, it said during the first 9 months of 2017, drug seizures in the Eastern Caribbean totaled to 658.18 kilograms of cocaine and 267 metric tons of marijuana, according to data shared by local governments with the DEA. Now, in the same time period, there were 194 arrests in connection with drug trafficking and the seizure of $1.3 million in illicit drug proceeds. Now, they said that cannabis cultivation occurs in the mountainous regions of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, Grenada, and Dominica, and cultivation appeared to increase on Antigua and Barbuda in 2017. That's according to the U.S. report, all right? Now, it observed that St. Vincent continues to be a primary source of cannabis in the Eastern Caribbean. But the report also observed that Venezuelan-based drug traffickers use the region's many uninhabited islands to move cocaine shipments up the island chains for onward transit to North America and to Europe. Now, it was noted that for 2 years in a row, the St. Vincent Drug Squad reported an increase in the transshipment of cocaine from Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago, and to a lesser extent, Colombia. It says that the shipment involved the use of mother vessels that remain offshore 50 nautical miles or beyond, which offload smaller loads of cocaine, typically ranging from between 20 and 200 kilograms, to local boats. Traffickers have also been detected intermixing shipments of cocaine on board transporting vessels with local products and construction material to Northern Caribbean islands. All right, now it said that although there were some seizures of synthetic drugs, the small quantities involved is not represented as a new consumption trend. All right, and so that's the report that has just been released, and so we wanted to let you know what was in the report. Your help is needed in finding a man, and particularly we are talking to persons who are currently viewing the program in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, according to police, they saw this man today wandering, and he didn't know his name or anything like that, and so they wanted you to help find his family.
Good night. I am Police Constable Durity of the Interagency Task Force. At around 6:30 this evening, we found this man wandering around in the vicinity of the Riverside Plaza car park. He was unable to give his name, however, persons nearby described him as having some mental issues, and so we are just seeking the public's assistance to locate his relatives, and so he can return home.
Alright folks, so that's him right there. For all our Trinidad viewers, of course, if you know him, contact the station so that, you know, they can make arrangements for him to be safely back at home. Woo! Now, the former registrar and chief executive officer of the Caribbean Examination Council, the CXC, says that the organization cannot afford the payment demands being made on it by some teachers in the region. Now, this also includes Grenada. Last evening, you would have heard the Minister for Education, Minister Emmeline Pierre, speaking on this. We now get a report from St. Lucia on the same matter.
Demand by teachers across the region for payment for correcting SBAs has been simmering under the surface for years now. In the latest development, some of the region's teachers are threatening not to correct the SBAs if there's no promise of payment by CXC. The August regional body faces its stiffest challenge in its 4 decades existence. The former registrar and chief executive officer of CXC, Dr. Didicus Jules, says CXC can ill afford to make this payment, and if forced so to do, will have to pass on the additional cost to the students.
No, I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed because the issue of payment for marking exams in general arose when I was registrar of CXC, and one of the first things I had done was to go to council asking for a significant increase in the subventions paid to CXC in order to pay markers much more, because there had been no increase for the preceding 25 years. So we felt that it was necessary to ensure that markers were given, more significant compensation for their marking.
During his tenure at the helm of CXC, Dr. Jules says he and the man who currently occupies his former seat tried desperately to address that concern.
The SBA from its inception was one of the most far-sighted things that the CXC could have done that distinguished it from Cambridge. Because as you know, just let's speak conceptually. First of all, the SBA is an opportunity to for students to apply the knowledge in whatever subject that they are doing to real life and to show the application of knowledge. That's one dimension. The second important dimension is that it is an opportunity for the teacher, the classroom teacher, who has interacted with the students throughout the year, to have a significant input into the grading, whatever is the final grade of their students, and therefore not just rely on a 2 or 3 hour exam, do or die.
The Caribbean Examination Council has held firm to the view that school-based assessment is part of the normal classroom duties for teachers, and they should therefore not be paid any additional amount for assessing the SBAs.
It's very unfortunate, because I think in some ways, this is a debate that is focused on the money, and the SBAs it's not a monetary thing. Neither was it meant to be an imposition on teachers that would, unduly tie up their time and create extra effort. All of that was supposed to be fitted within the ambit of the work that they do in their classrooms, and to give value to that in awarding final grades to students.
The Caribbean Examination Council is one of the region's outstanding successes, with passes in CXC subjects accepted for registering for post-secondary courses in the Caribbean, the United Kingdom, India, the United States, and other places. CXC, because of its use of innovation and its credibility, is considered a model in many far-flung regions of the world. Stanley Lucien for the HTS News Force.
Thank you very much, Stanley. And of course, we are moving on. Earlier, bizarre story out of Trinidad and Tobago. A vehicle was stolen. Police car stolen from police. I'm not even making it up. We don't make up stories on the program. Now, police officers who stopped to search suspects on a highway near Claxton Bay this morning were left there when one of the suspects got into their squad car and sped off. Now, the emergency rapid response unit's vehicle, it was found abandoned not long after. They say when they found the vehicle, the doors were opened, the flashing blue lights were still on, and the suspect was gone. Police had stopped a vehicle with 3 occupants in it on a highway just around 9 a.m. One of the men ran and officers chased. Police say that he ran across the southbound lane, then back across the northbound lane and into an abandoned structure. They say that he was then cornered by police. There was a struggle and the keys for the police vehicle fell off, and the suspect grabbed onto the keys, jumped a barbed wire fence, got into the squad car and sped away. Oh gosh. So them boys and them in the village play a mass with the police car. They play a mass. You understand? Who take pictures and show off, who do live, all kind of thing. Look, I'm making it up. You understand? Would you imagine a police vehicle and there were documents and stuff in the police vehicle? You understand? I never hear that yet.
How we say it live on the police line here. All the doctor, all the place get the light here. Brand new police chief bucket. All of them things. Batman came down, roll, rotation.
Wow, people! What? That joke? That movie? Chuck Norris? People? Can you believe? Wait. Ah, boy. I don't know what to say again. There's only one thing we could say about it, and all of you could join me in saying it. I never see that yet. Anyway, let's leave that talk there. How we looking for time? We going good, ain't? How we going? Right. All here. So let's take a trip now. Let's go over to Barbados for a while, okay? So some sanitary engineers or some sanitary workers, they found a fetus this morning, and so they alerted the authorities about it. So they say that they conducted a search in the vehicle and stuff like that, yeah, and they found the fetus, yeah. What happened? They are saying that a doctor was called in, okay, and the doctor pronounced the death, but when they did further checks, they found out that it was a monkey. Now you want to know how how did they know it was a monkey? All right, in the garbage truck. Now they say when the investigators initially went to the scene and they really thought it was a human in the garbage truck, but they say when they did a thorough search of the garbage truck, it turned up a female monkey in a bag, which appeared to have been pregnant. Okay, so while they searched the garbage, they saw another monkey, a female monkey that appeared to have been pregnant in a bag. All right, and they say that because of the compressor, you know, how the female was compressed in the machine, the fetus may have came out of the body of the dead monkey, and so that is why the fetus was there. Okay, so they are saying they are conducting further investigations and so on to wrap the case up, but they are pretty sure that it is not the fetus of a human being. Oh yeah. The next thing that I have to tell all you about, boy, the Nurses Association, they're having a fundraiser. Okay, so tonight we spoke to the Nurse Joseph, who is the PRO of the Grenada Nurses Association. Okay, so they're having a takeaway tea and fun day on Friday at Tantin Playing Field, and they are saying that it is for a worthy cause, so they are encouraging everyone to come out to this. We spoke to the PRO tonight.
We are having a Nurses Fun Day and takeaway tea on Friday the 6th of April at the Roy St. John Playing Field, starting time 2 p.m. Well, from 2 to 6. We were looking at having games such as Togawa, relays. We're also looking at indoor games. We're asking persons who have games to come out, walk with their games, and come out. We're asking nurses and other persons to come out and participate. The processes are in aid of the Nurses Conference, the CNO Nurses Conference, which will be held in 2020 in Grenada.
All right, thank you very much for that bit of information. All right, folks, what else do we have to tell you? All right, let me just take a quick break, and when I come back, I'll tell you more of what we've got.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom
for me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you
Hello? I can't see you.
What's good?
But I can't even hear you.
Yo.
Hello? Hello? Ah!
Okay, I see. I'm good. I'm coming in.
Ah. There you are.
Live the experience right now. Enjoy high-quality video calling today. Stream, upload, and share with Digicel super fast LTE network. Visit our stores today and live the experience today. Digicel. On Saturday, 6 April, the National Stadium comes alive with the grand opening of the second annual Pure Grenada Cup. St. Andrew Big Parish Stores versus St. Mark Western Stores. And from 9 p.m., defending champion St. Patrick Crown City Strikers versus St. John Dolphins. Experience pure football, pure class. Then after the games, we move stateside for the top 3 artists in the International Groovy Monarch from Trinidad. Groovy King Swappy from St. Lucia with his man, Teddyson John, and the Grenadian Golden Boy, Vaughn. Also featuring the band Solid and Pappy Boy. Admission $25 main stand, $20 bleachers. The grand opening of the second annual Pure Grenada Cup. Get into the game. Saturday, April 13th is the date. 4 p.m. is the time. It's the 3rd annual Grenada Invitational. World-class athletes, world-class performances, and a world-class facility. Come see Olympians Andre DeGrasse, Shellyan, Fraser Price, Braylon Toplin, Asafa Powell, Lyndon Victor, and the cast of superstars at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Tickets are now on sale at godofed.com. Grenadian Optical, Duty Free Caribbean, Maxis Bar, and Venus. Saturday, April 13th. Grenada Invitational. See you there.
McIntyre, top of the screen in the colors of Grenada with a bit of a lead.
To keep it fresh, chill it. To get it hot, cook it. To keep it clean, wash it. Do all that and more with top brand appliances from Quartz. Try that recipe on a new stove. Keep those fruit bowls chilled in the latest design fridge. Get laundry done with a brand new washer and dryer combo. Purchase any Whirlpool product and get a chance to win $8,000. Shop with Quartz Ready Finance and pay nothing until June. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
We're getting ready for the big one, the big kahuna. All right, folks, what we have for you right now is the National Report. And following the National Report, we'll have the weather for you. Stay tuned.
Special committees established to support management of Grenada's education system. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Wednesday, April 3rd, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. 4 committees have been established to assist and support the management of Grenada's education system. During the weekly post-cabinet briefing on Tuesday, Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, the Honorable Emmeline Pear, said the committees will focus on school management, values-based education, special intervention and support, and a school inspection.
1, to do with school management. 2, values-based education, and you've heard me speak about the issue of spiritual development in the life of students, but we want to broaden that to specifically look at values-based education and the implication, the impact that that can have on the all-round development of any student. Special intervention and support. And in that particular committee, we are looking at some special case schools that urgent intervention is required, and we have started that. And the fourth area, school inspection. Now, many of you might be well aware that we do have school operating in some locations that are not suitable. And so the Education Act speaks about continuous school inspection. And while this has not been done formally because of the magnitude of that particular responsibility, we see it as absolutely necessary to find a way to get that done. We've established a special committee. We intend to engage additional persons to get it done, because if you're going to use the regular education officers, the regular health officers in the system, obviously there would not be much movement there. So we are seriously pursuing a new plan for the inspection of schools, and that is to begin within the next coming months.
We're just 2 days away from what promises to be an exciting athletic action at the National Stadium when athletes with the 2 best times from each zone in each category meet at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium on Friday to compete for the inaugural championship trophy in the National Secondary School Sports. Assistant Coordinator for Sports, Curlin Peters, who was a guest on the GIS Spice Morning program this week, says they are even seeking to facilitate the athletes who did not make it to the Carifta team.
You know, when you start something, it's a little shaky. The turnout in St. George's was a little poor.
So that is really concerning. About the
that's really concerning in some of the events, especially with the female. But what we have done to help some of the athletes, that you can remember that around that time there was, you know, speaking about they had to compete at the national trials for Carifta.
Okay.
So now most of them now calling, so we don't get shown the Carifta team and we want to compete together. So what we have done to assist them in that form, we have open the relays.
Okay.
So you could select the zone, have the permission to select the relay teams from people within the zone.
Okay.
So some of the athletes that are good and didn't get an opportunity to compete, they will be able to come in with
placement.
Placement on the relay team. But when we met with the coaches this week, like they start saying, well, we're gonna win that. You know, they start checking.
Okay, right. Who they have and so.
Who they have and who they. So I think it's really charged up to have a good competition, and it shows for the future of the event, because I know for the next year and the following years, because that is not the stop.
Okay, to continue.
It will be much more exciting. I think everybody will be on board from day one.
This is the National Report. More news after the break.
After 4 weeks of preliminary qualifiers, after 4 zonal meets, it all comes down to this one incredible day of exciting track and field action. Come on! It's the National Secondary School Games Grand Finals. The Eastern, Western, Northern, and Southern zones will face off. Kirani James Athletic Stadium, Friday, April 5th from 10 a.m. Excitement, tension, drama. The athletes will throw further, jump higher, and run faster. And inspirational halftime performances from Dash, Vaughn, and Mr. Killer. Witness poetry in motion, the fluidity of form and class. National Secondary School Games, the championship. Come feel the rhythm of the games.
Continuing the news, with greater community involvement can come a better visitor experience. That was the focus of the second consultation involving Ministry of Tourism, representatives from the Tourism Authority and other players in the industry as they seek to increase visitor numbers so that more will be spending. As part of the process, an e-forum will be created for tour operators to interact with communities, which will in turn create the products that visitors want. Consultant Dr. Oliana Poon has been in dialogue with Grenada's tourism minister for the last 3 years on ways to create benefits for tourism working with communities.
And fully benefiting is not only about more customers, but customers actually spending more. And the key word here is experiences. It's not just about a product, it's not just a service, but it's a fantastic experience that people find memorable and they can take away, and they want to come over and over again, and they want to hundreds of people to come to Grenada, to visit Grenada, because they had such a brilliant experience. And at the end of the day, Grenadians and communities need to feel tourism in their pockets and on their tables.
Tourism Minister Dr. Clarice Modeste Kerwin agrees that visitors need much more than attraction sites to be able to boast of the ultimate experience. She says it is important to find the right mix, especially since the sector has the potential to grow bigger with the recognition Grenada has been receiving through sports and culture.
It is very important that tourism is seen or felt to be everybody's business and not just have it deemed as a statement that we in the industry make. So we have the beautiful Grand Anse Beach, we have Grand Tang and so on, but in every community there's something special, something unique that we can build around it to make it a tourism attraction or a tourism activity that people can pleasure themselves in. And everywhere you go, Grenada is blessed with something that we can do. And unless the community sees a little bit more of the tourism dollars trickling down their way, then we cannot truly say that tourism is everybody's business.
Mrs. Brenda Hood, advisor to the Minister for Tourism and Civil Aviation, says community involvement for a memorable experience means hearing from people in the communities on how they see themselves benefiting financially.
There's so much to offer. I mean, the experiences that the tourists are looking for these days, we have a lot to offer, and therefore we need to look at what we have. We need to package it in a way that when people come to Grenada, they can say, wow, we had a great experience, and the rest of the region can look at Grenada as an example. As you can tell, the industry is improving from day to day, but at the same time, we want the experiences to improve, and we want the people to benefit financially from the growing industry.
Grenada's stance on gender equality was the focus of a just concluded two-day workshop on gender mainstreaming. It included discussion on the legislation, policies and programs relating to gender. The ultimate aim of the workshop is to educate stakeholders in an effort to achieve gender equality. Details from Delroy Louison.
The two-day workshop brought together various gender focal points from different spheres in society, as well as government officials, to come up with a clear understanding of Grenada's stance on gender equality and its regional priorities. The initiative was done within the context of the Beijing Platform for Action, which, according to UN Women, is an agenda for women's empowerment. Addressing the gathering on Tuesday, Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment, Veronica Charles, said we must be conscious of gender mainstreaming, which must be included in everything we do, being mindful of the many issues of gender equality which affect men and women.
We know that we do have focal points here representing every ministry, every statutory body, and other agencies, our social partners. So we hope at the end of the day that these focal points and government officials will have the tools to integrate programming for gender equality in the ministries, agencies and divisions. That gender focal points and other government officials have a shared understanding of country-based and regional gender equality priorities within the context of the Beijing Platform for Action.
Minister for Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment, the Honorable Delma Thomas, said the workshop brings persons closer to realizing gender equality.
Government is committed to gender mainstreaming. In fact, the very fact that there are 7 women in the parliament speaks to our commitment as a government. The very fact that we have a woman as a governor general and many women are now on boards, it speaks to our commitment as a government. I also want to commend UN Women, who have always been there with us in assisting us, our gender policies and all other actions we have taken as a ministry and as a government in promoting equality among women and men in our country. Today's workshop is a closer step to gender equality. So it assists us in realizing gender equality. This involves the integration of gender perspectives into the preparation, design, implementation, monitoring and evaluation of policies, regulations, measures and spending programs with a view of promoting equalities between women and men and eliminating discrimination.
One of the facilitators, Deputy Representative for UN Women Caribbean, Tony Ann Bruder, gave an overview of the two-day workshop. She said gender issues are not theoretical in nature, but are real-life issues experienced by men and women.
What we're going to be doing is going through gender in a real lived way. So you understand, as the PS indicated, how to mainstream gender in a way that means something. The Prime Minister of Barbados challenged us last year at a meeting for ministers and representatives of bureaus of gender affairs across the region. And she said, you know, you guys come together often to talk about gender, but what does this mean for the people of the Caribbean? And that is what we need to start figuring out. Not only how can we integrate it so that it resonates in true, substantive, realized change for the citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and the entire Caribbean.
One of the expected outcomes of the workshop is having gender focal points and government officials understand the gaps to achieving gender equality nationally and regionally, and a commitment to take action to bridge those gaps. For the National Report, I'm Delroy Loza.
And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Thank you very much, Leslie, and everyone else who were part of the production of the National Report. Let's quickly tell you what the weather is going to be like, all right? Winds are northeasterly to east-southeasterly at 12 to 22 miles per hour, gusting higher at times. There's a medium chance of brief nighttime showers. Now, the tides are expected to be high at 2:45 a.m. Sun is expected to rise tomorrow at 6:03 a.m. All right? And we just want to say hello to everyone on the program. All right, everyone on the program, thank you for viewing. And of course, we'll be touching base later on again. All right, Veronica, Hazel, Trevelyn, Khadija, Adore, who else is Shireen, and the Irma, Wayne, Sonia, Angel, Deslin, Jade, Ala, Wayne, Suzette, Colette, Patsy, Sherman, and Cynthia, Crispin, and everyone else, Debbie, Sally, Gwendolyn, and the whole crew, Noreen and Kevin, and all the crew. Thank you for viewing Mikey Live. God bless you and your family. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we all say, Ja! No. Good night, everyone. All right, and don't forget the Variety Store on Market Hill. God bless you. Good night.